are still working on deep cycle solar battery restoration. In case you haven't watched the first video, I'm going to link to it. I think it's over here. We're working on trying to bring 2 of our 8 solar batteries back into a usable condition. They've been a little weak and they've been dragging down the other batteries that are in our battery bank. Check out the last video and you'll find out what we did there with an electrolyte switch. And I want to actually jump to that and kind of update you on how things turned out. So you recall that we used this small Schumacher charger, and I actually set it to charge at 15 amps because I just wanted to get this done and see if we had any measurable improvement. For those of you who have not been watching our videos already, we are off grid. Our power source is a generator. So while I might have desired to charge this battery at a much slower rate for a much longer time, it's not an option for us. So I went with a 15 amp setting, and so far I think it's accomplished its goal, which is just to provide me with information on whether or not the electrolyte switch is helping. I'd like to take these batteries into my local automotive parts store. These folks have a load tester that can put this battery under multiple different loads in a very short amount of time. The end result is we're trying to figure out what's the condition of the battery. If you recall where we left off, we went from a voltage of 5.87. When we added the new acid, just the acid brought the voltage up to 5.91, which isn't really necessarily significant, but it was a change. Our specific gravity did come up because before, when we checked it, it was basically didn't even register on our tester. When we added the electrolyte, we were at least getting a reading of 1.150. So I guess in all that was progress. So what I did over the last couple of days was ran through 2 charge cycles on the battery. The issue with this Schumacher charger is that it's completely computerized and I have no real control over what it's doing other than I can just set what I want it to do. So after those 2 separate charge cycles, I let the battery rest for around 12 hours, and that's where we are right now. So let's just do a quick reading. I've got the notes here that we're sitting at a resting voltage of about 6.23 volts. But interestingly, the specific gravity still hasn't changed. So no real major conclusion there. I may actually today pick up a different battery tester just to eliminate the battery tester as the problem right here. In the previous video comment, someone said that it's very likely that my issue is actually sulfation on the battery plates, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but the fact that the specific gravity is reading so low really doesn't have a lot to do with the sulfation on the plates. I wanted to eliminate the battery acid as a potential contributor to the low voltage in the battery. If my battery acid is top notch and I'm still getting low voltage readings, well, clearly there's some other issue. I'm getting a reading about right here, which is 1.150. So this is what I found across the entire battery. Is the voltage has come up considerably and it has held steady for over 12 hours. I was curious because I think the first day when I ran the charger all the way through its complete cycle and then allowed the battery to rest for 12 hours, the voltage had dropped down to about 6.17 volts. Putting it through a second charge cycle, here it is sitting at 6.23 volts. So this is progress. We'd love to get this thing resting at like 6.3 or even a little bit higher. I'm actually going to take both the good battery and the one that I haven't done any work on with me because I want to do a comparison. I want to put the battery we've been working on under some loads, test that, and then I want to compare that to the battery we haven't done any work on, and hopefully we get some improvement from this battery. But if not, that's fantastic to learn at this early stage in this project. Some things I'm going to take with me for this test is goggles, gloves, voltage meter, a rag, my hydrometer, my notes, and some baking soda. I tell my friend, hey, I'm here for you. I pay the bill. We step outside as we embrace. I empathize. I've got some friends with some real problems. Oh, how I wish that I could solve them. I've got some like somebody lost all their oil in the road, so I'm gonna pick this up. Another one. Somebody lost a bunch of oil and crap all over the roads. This one's still got a bunch in it, so. Let's see what the schmancy load tester can tell us about these batteries.
All-night science guy thing? Oh,
yeah,
wow,
kind of.
those are huge.
So I want to just do a load test on this one and a load test on this one and just kind of compare the two. Is there another way, like another test mode versus cold cranking amps?
You're gonna have to ask Tom.
In case you're wondering, this is what a scientific battery load tester looks like. Kind of has that engineering look about it. If you look in there, it's just a toaster. Yeah. It's got a huge heating element that's in there, and it just probably gets hot as heck when you put it in. I mean, that's all it is a big friggin' light bulb. So this is like 100 1-amp light bulbs, also known as a Christmas tree. This part, though, is helpful because it gives you like an idea of what's going through the system. So I'm realizing that I should probably actually compare my battery tester to a different one just to kind of eliminate that as a potential source of misinformation. The battery testers they have here, though, don't actually read specific gravity. They're more like charged or not. One of the problems I have with charging is that I can't manually control the current that I'm flowing into the battery. So if we get to the point where I can switch out for distilled water, I'm going to need something that will not try to determine the voltage of the battery. I want to be able to tell it the voltage and the current, and I need it to apply that to the battery. That way I can try to remove the sulfation into the distilled water. The charger I have is too computerized, and it won't let me do that. It'll probably sense that there's no voltage, and it'll give me an error. Alright, so the end of this visit is that they don't have the battery tester that I need, and they don't have the charger that I need, and I don't really want to buy a load tester yet. I want to test the specific gravity, so I'm actually going to run and get a new battery tester. First, we have to do some chores, like laundry. Before I decide the next course of action, I want to use a new hydrometer and just see if my hydrometer somehow got broken or damaged or something. So this one's brand new. This is the battery that I've been working on. So let's just do a quick specific gravity test. Looks like the specific gravity on this meter, the exact same as my other meter. Since my hydrometer seems to be accurate, at this point I guess I'm stuck because the tester that my local auto parts store had doesn't really do what we need it to do, and they're not familiar with how to make it do what we need it to do. So I guess I'm at a point where I really want to just find a proper battery tester. Even though I could do some crazy DIY one, I might just kind of shop around a little bit and see if I can find one locally that technically does the job better and maybe more accurately. And then, assuming I find one of those, I want to do a little bit of charger shopping. I know there's people in my neighborhood who probably have these types of chargers, but I don't know, maybe I could spend a week trying to find one and then coordinating. So at this point, I'm probably going to do just a little bit of shopping. If this process actually works, I'm going to want to do this to all of my batteries, probably. Oops, almost forgot the laundry. That was close. I do not need Alyssa getting mad at me. I decided to actually pick up a legitimate battery tester. I'll add that to my toolbox, and again, we got other stuff we gotta get done today, so now I'm gonna leave this video where it is. Ever since his partner left, his confidence is shot, second guessing every moment. A bad train. It's a new day, and I thought I would just kind of update you on the status of these batteries since they've been resting uncharged for over 24 hours now. And that's actually one of the tests we use to determine kind of the neglect or abuse or stress, I guess is a better word, of a battery, is self-discharge. So let's take a look at these batteries. And then I also wanted to actually just go and test some of our other batteries with the hydrometer and just kind of to just reinforce in my mind that my hydrometer is fine, and there's some other issue going on here that's affecting the ability of the specific gravity of this new battery to come up. First off, let's just do a quick voltage check and see what this battery is doing after over 24 hours with no charge. We're holding at 6.2 volts, which that's a good sign. This battery is not self-discharging quickly. This guy, which is kind of the booger, he's sitting at 5.85, so he's lost another 0.02 of a volt. And let's just do a quick hydrometer test here. No measurable change. Looks like we're still reading 1.150. What I want to do is compare that to good batteries. These 6 batteries are the ones that have been treating us really well, and we're actually getting some pretty good solar today. So I would expect that we should get a pretty good specific gravity reading here. So this one's showing a 1.21. That's higher, so that tells me we're getting higher readings, I guess. And let's just jump over here. So this one's in that 1.210 range as well. You could check each cell and come up with different readings. As we said earlier, these batteries are used, so it would be unreasonable to expect them to have really high specific gravity readings, because anytime a battery ages, it's going to lose capacity and it's going to have higher resistance inside the battery and things like that.
Can I pet it? Huh? Is it trying to slyly sun itself? Bye, see you later. Have fun on your adventure. Me and my inverter just gonna go have a coffee date. Don't forget to take the camera off your head before you go to public.
Today is a crazy busy day for Alyssa and I. We've got a million chores that need to be done, and a lot of it has to do with either making video, living off the grid, or general household needs. It's actually pretty sunny today too, so maybe the drivers on the highway will be a little nicer today. Nah, they'll probably tailgate just like every other day. Who am I kidding?
And then he spilled the
I gotta pick up the front receiver hitch to install our plow.
can hardly pay his rent, flunking out of school.
That's a big guy. Hitch is in the bag. Oh wow. Good thing I'm wearing my bogs. That's a deep puddle. Next, we gotta ship this inverter.
There isn't much that
Alright, package is on its way. Only seems proper to treat myself to a coffee between chores.
pay the bill. We step outside as we embrace. I empathize. I've got some friends with some real problems.
Next, I need to pay the car off. That's right, today we own this car outright.
Real problems, and I listen.
All done. Alyssa and I should celebrate. Paying off any kind of debt is a huge accomplishment. Now I'm going to do a little bit of research on battery chargers. So this battery tester is really similar to the one that I purchased locally, and it looks like this one's quite a bit more expensive. So this one's available on Amazon for about $20. And this is what a well-used battery tester looks like. See, one of the problems or challenges with these chargers is they say 6 and 12 volt batteries, but what they are not saying is that you cannot charge at all these different amp ratings, 10, 30, and 200. Of course 200 is just for a fast start. It's not a charging rating. 10 and 30 are. But over here, what they don't tell you is that you can only charge 6 volt batteries at 30 amps. You don't have any other control. 12 volt, you can do 10 or 30. Well, that didn't quite work out. Next, I need to grab a set of headlights for our pickup truck. I'm not quite ready to give up on battery chargers locally yet, so I want to check one more place that I know has a bunch of variety. So here, on this charger, you have one option for 6 volts, and that's 30 amps. So I'm figuring out that I think I'm asking the wrong question. It's kind of funny, I was just laughing with the guy at the store because we say we're off grid, but here we are shopping for all these electronics that we have to plug into something to charge our batteries so that we can be off grid. It's a little frustrating, and I think this is one of those realities that nobody really talks about. So while we have a really sophisticated inverter charger that works with our generator and combined with our charge controller on our solar panels, the idea is it keeps our batteries topped off. But if you're trying to restore these batteries so you can be off grid, pushing your luck. So I'm rambling, but I think you get the point that finding a charger that's superior to my small ship and shore Schumacher is not going to be easy. Something else that's been on our list for quite a while is a new gas can. Some of you probably noticed that we're using a diesel can. Ooh, that's a big no-no. And I just happened upon some really great replacements for the cans that we have for a really great bargain. Okay, I seriously got to get out of this place because I am spending way too much money. So I picked up 2 gas cans. I got a 6-pack of 2-stroke oil, which we're going to need because we're going to start running the chainsaw a lot more. Picked a couple of pairs of safety glasses, which we needed to replace theirs because they got scratched doing the trenching job. And then I picked up this fun guy. I'm going to do a video on this later. If you already know what it is, you know why I'm excited about it. Oh yeah, and I picked up a couple of these, but don't tell Alyssa, okay? Definitely struggling to find the pieces that I need to make this work. I'm going to do some research when I get home and see if I can find a solution to do to this battery what I want to do.
There isn't much that I can do. I tell my friend, hey, I'm here for you.
So let me kind of walk you through some of the things that have happened in the last 3 days with this battery project. To help me try to understand just apples to apples between these 2 batteries, I have been charging this battery with the old electrolyte, no modifications, for 3 different days and a cumulative total charging hours of 14 hours. And this battery has not received any charge for 4 days. The current status is this battery has only lost 1/10 of a volt in 4 days, which I consider to be acceptable. This battery, I've never been able to get fully charged. It has not been able to get to a float stage. And every time I remove it from the charger, the voltage drops very quickly overnight. Last night, I had this battery as close to a full charge as possible after having been on the charger for I think around 8 or 9 hours. And this morning, it's back down to 6 volts, which means that charge is flat out not sticking in this battery. Whereas the battery we changed the electrolyte, we charged it for approximately 7 hours and it received a full charge, and since has only self-discharged around 1/10 of a volt in 4 days. This is acceptable. This is never going to work. I did a load test on both of these batteries before I charged or tried to apply charging to the old battery, which has no new electrolyte. And I wanted to share with you the outcome of these tests because it's very informative as it pertains to our objective here, which is to try to recover these batteries. So let me do this for you really quick and share with you how it works. We're actually working on 6-volt batteries, which is this small arc here. The voltage currently is displayed for us with no load on the battery, which is currently sitting in the good area. What we're going to do is we're going to apply, I believe it is 50 amps of load for 10 seconds. And what you're going to see is the voltage is going to drop under load. That's good. What we want to do is make sure that under load the voltage doesn't drop extremely or quickly. When we release the load, the voltage should slowly come back up. That's all signs of a good battery. So let's go ahead and move our load switch and notice the voltage. Alright, so that was 10 seconds and I can feel heat coming off of the coil inside this little vented area. And you'll notice that our needle did not drop below the good area. What that means is that under load the voltage didn't drop an excessive amount and it was not progressively dropping. This tells me that while there probably is some sulfation on the lead plates in these batteries, it's not extreme because we're able to very quickly pull energy from the electrolyte through the electrodes into our load tester. This battery is the one which we have not done any electrolyte work on. You can see that the current voltage here is in the good area. Let's go ahead and apply a load for 10 seconds. Very good. And we see a similar result. So under load, the voltage did not drop excessively and also did not drop rapidly. Currently, we're back up in the good area. What we've done today is the most simple test of a battery. Charge it fully and then let it self-discharge. That'll tell you a lot about a battery's condition. If it's self-discharging quickly, then it's probably not in very good condition. Then put the battery under a load test and watch the voltage. And it cannot be a small load necessarily. It needs to be a fairly strenuous load, which determines the battery's ability to give up its energy quickly, which is a measurement of a battery's strength. A stressed or fatigued or damaged battery will not be able to do that. It will not do well under a load test. I want to keep moving forward with this testing because I think we're making progress. It goes something like this. Both of these batteries are doing okay because when we put them under a load test, they both perform reasonably the same. However, the battery with the new electrolyte was able to take a charge quickly, reasonably quickly, and fully within about 7 hours. The battery with the old electrolyte, no new electrolyte, has not been able to get a full charge, no matter how long I apply that charge. The conclusion there is that the electrolyte is weak, and so this is why I started this whole entire test by replacing the electrolyte. That was determined initially, if you recall, by specific gravity. So I want to now move to replacing the electrolyte in this second battery, and then go through a charge cycle and also manage or monitor the specific gravity. What I'm hoping that I get to is performance similar to the battery where we replaced the electrolyte, meaning it accepts a charge relatively quickly and reasonably holds that charge under no load. Unlike its performance now, where I tried to charge it fully and I'm not able, and very quickly it self-discharges overnight. If we were to do this for one battery, it wouldn't be economical necessarily. I mean, this amount of testing. But if we can find some sort of reasonable course of action to rescue a couple of batteries, I'm hoping we can apply this across our battery bank. After I do these initial steps of changing the electrolyte in the second battery and applying a charge, I'd then like to do some testing with equalization, but that's going to be unfortunately a topic for another video. I didn't intend for this video series to become so long, but I am making progress, I feel like. So I'm going to keep documenting this process as I go, and I'll create another video with the next steps on this second battery. We'll see you next time.